They doubted you, they overlooked you, they even questioned your worth. But what if I told you all of that was part of the plan? There's a shift happening right now, and it's not random. If you're seeing this, it's not by accident. You've been in a season of confusion, delays, and silent battles that nobody else could understand. Doors closed, people walked away, opportunities seemed just out of reach. But what felt like rejection was actually divine protection. You are a chosen one, and God is about to prove why He chose you. Everything you've endured has been preparation. Every tear, every setback, every lonely night, it was building something inside you that can't be shaken. While others were celebrating, you were being refined. While others were comfortable, you were being called higher. Now, the shift is here. The same people who doubted you will witness your elevation. The same situations that broke you will become the foundation of your testimony. What's coming next will make everything make sense. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Not everyone is ready for this level of transformation. It takes strength to be chosen. It takes faith to keep going when nothing makes sense. So if you feel that fire inside you, that quiet knowing that your life is about to change, this message is for you. Make sure you subscribe right now, because what's coming next will open your eyes in ways you never expected. Your confirmation is closer than you think. You were never meant to fit in, and deep down, you've always known it. From your earliest memories, something about your life felt different. While others moved effortlessly with the crowd, you felt like you were walking a path no one else could see. You may have been misunderstood, mislabeled, or even rejected for simply being who you are. And for a long time, it hurt. You questioned yourself. You wondered why it seemed so easy for others to belong, while you were constantly set apart. But what if that separation was never a punishment, but a divine strategy? God pulled you away early because your identity was too important to be shaped by the wrong influences. While others were blending in, you were being refined. While they were following trends, you were being trained to lead. The isolation you felt wasn't abandonment, it was alignment. Every moment you spent alone was building clarity, strength, and a deeper connection to your purpose. You weren't overlooked. You were hidden. There were places you didn't get access to, people who didn't fully accept you, and opportunities that seemed to pass you by. But now you're beginning to see it differently. If you had been included in certain spaces, you might have absorbed limitations that would have delayed your calling. If everyone had understood you, you might have settled for being comfortable instead of becoming powerful. Your difference is your evidence. You see life through a deeper lens. You feel things more intensely. You question what others blindly accept. That's not a weakness. It's a mark of someone who was never designed for average living. And now, everything is starting to make sense. The same traits that once made you feel isolated are the very things preparing you to stand out on a level that can't be ignored. You were set apart early because your purpose requires clarity, strength, and authenticity. You were never behind. You were being prepared. Your struggles built unshakable strength. You didn't just face challenges, you walked through fire that most people would have run from. There were moments in your life when everything felt like it was falling apart at once. Times when you had no clear direction, no support system, and no one who truly understood what you were going through. You carried burdens in silence, fought battles in your mind, and kept showing up even when your strength felt completely drained. And yet, you didn't break. That's not normal. That's not luck. That's evidence. Every struggle you faced was shaping something deeper within you. While it looked like life was working against you, it was actually working on you. God was building a kind of strength that can't be taught in comfort, a resilience that doesn't depend on circumstances, a mindset that refuses to collapse under pressure. You were being trained for weight others can't carry. Think about it. What breaks most people only refined you. Situations that were meant to stop you ended up strengthening you. You learned how to survive without constant validation. You learned how to stand alone. You learned how to keep moving forward, even when everything inside you wanted to give up. That kind of endurance is rare, and here's the truth. Strength like yours doesn't come from easy seasons. It comes from being stretched, tested, and pushed beyond your limits again and again, until you discover that your limits were never where you thought they were. You became unshakable because life tried to shake you, and failed. Now, you carry a quiet confidence, not loud, not forced, but real. You see what others can't. There's a reason you've always felt like you're noticing things other people completely miss. You don't just hear words, you feel intentions. You don't just look at situations, you read between the lines. While others take things at face value, something in you pauses, observes, and knows when something isn't right. And for a long time, you may have doubted that ability. You may have told yourself you were overthinking, being too sensitive, or imagining things. But you weren't. You were discerning. God gave you a deeper level of awareness because your path requires clarity in a world full of deception. Not everything is as it seems, and not everyone is who they claim to be. Your ability to sense energy, motives, and hidden patterns is a form of protection. It's how you avoid traps that others walk into blindly. And if you're honest, there have been moments where you felt something was off, and later it proved to be true. That wasn't coincidence, that was confirmation. But this gift hasn't always been easy to carry. Seeing more means feeling more. You pick up on shifts in energy, unspoken tension, and subtle changes in people's behavior. It can be overwhelming at times. It can even make you feel isolated, because not everyone understands what you're perceiving or why you react the way you do. Still, this awareness is part of your assignment. You weren't meant to move through life asleep. You were meant to see clearly, to navigate wisely, and to recognize truth even when it's hidden beneath layers of illusion. While others are easily influenced, you are guided from within. Now, you're learning to trust that inner knowing, because the more you trust what you sense, the more aligned you become with your purpose. And in a world where many are confused and misled, your clarity is not just a gift, it's your advantage. You outgrew places and people quickly. One of the most confusing parts of your journey has been how quickly things and people seem to fall away from your life. Connections that once felt strong suddenly became distant. Conversations that used to excite you started to feel shallow. Environments that once felt comfortable began to feel restrictive, almost like you couldn't breathe the same way anymore. And you may have asked yourself, why does this keep happening to me? But the truth is, you weren't losing people, you were outgrowing them. Growth changes your frequency, and when your mindset, awareness, and purpose begin to elevate, everything that can't align with that new level starts to feel out of place. It's not that those people or places are bad, they're just no longer meant for the version of you that you're becoming. And that shift can feel lonely, because sometimes the separation happens before the replacement arrives. You're left in between, no longer who you used to be, but not fully surrounded by what's next. That space can feel empty, confusing, even painful, but it's also sacred. It's where transformation happens. God removes what can no longer carry your future. Some connections were only meant for a season to teach you, shape you, or reveal something about yourself. But if they stayed, they would limit your growth. Familiarity can be comforting, but it can also keep you stuck. And you were never meant to stay stuck. So when people walked away, when things stopped flowing the same, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You are evolving at a pace that not everyone can keep up with, and that's okay. Because where you're going requires alignment, not attachment. It requires people who match your growth, not people who remember your past version. Every disconnection is making space for something greater, connections that will understand you, support you, and grow with you. You didn't lose your place, you outgrew it. You were tested in silence. Not every battle in your life came with noise. Some of the hardest ones came in complete silence, where no one saw your struggle, no one heard your prayers, and no one truly understood what you were carrying. You smiled in public but fought in private. You showed strength on the outside while wrestling with doubt, fear, and emotional exhaustion within. There were nights you questioned everything, your path, your purpose, even yourself. And yet, you kept going. That kind of strength doesn't come from attention. It comes from endurance. God allowed you to be tested in silence because public validation can't build private strength. When no one is watching, that's where your real character is formed. That's where your faith is proven. It's easy to stay strong when people are cheering you on, but who are you when it's just you, your thoughts, and the weight of everything you're facing? You proved something in those moments. You proved that you don't need applause to keep moving. You proved that even when you feel alone, you won't abandon yourself. You proved that your strength isn't dependent on circumstances. It's rooted in something deeper, and that's rare. Many people give up when things get quiet, when there's no recognition, no progress, no visible results. But you didn't. You stayed. You endured. You held on when letting go felt easier. That's what separates you. Because silence wasn't emptiness, it was preparation. It was a space where distractions were removed, so something stronger could be built within you. Every unseen tear, every internal battle, every moment you chose to rise instead of fall, it all counted. Now, you carry a quiet power, not loud, not performative, but undeniable. And here's what you need to understand. What was built in silence is about to speak for you loudly. The strength you developed behind closed doors is getting ready to open doors no one can shut. You weren't being ignored. You were being prepared. You carry a natural leadership energy. There's something about you that people notice, even when you're not trying to be seen. You may not always speak the loudest. You may not always seek attention or try to take control of situations. But somehow, people still look to you. They watch how you move, how you respond, how you carry yourself through challenges. And without you forcing anything, your presence influences the atmosphere around you. That's not coincidence. That's leadership. You were never designed to follow the crowd, you were designed to shift it. There's a natural authority in you, not based on titles or positions, but on energy, wisdom, and authenticity. People can feel that you've been through things. They can sense that your perspective comes from experience, not just words. And that's why they trust you. Even in moments when you doubt yourself, others are quietly learning from you. The way you handle pressure, the way you stay grounded when things get chaotic, the way you rise after setbacks, it speaks louder than anything you could say. But here's the truth. Natural leaders often go through seasons of hiding. You may have found yourself holding back, shrinking your voice, or avoiding stepping fully into your power. Maybe you didn't want the responsibility. Maybe you were tired. Or maybe you were waiting to feel ready. But leadership doesn't wait for comfort. It's activated through growth. God has been shaping you behind the scenes, preparing you not just to lead, but to lead with depth, compassion, and clarity. Unlike surface-level leadership, yours carries weight. You don't just guide people, you impact them. And now, that energy is becoming harder to ignore. You're being called to step forward, even if it feels unfamiliar, to trust that what's already inside you is enough. To understand that leadership isn't about perfection, it's about presence, courage, and truth. You don't need permission to lead, you already are. You feel a pull toward purpose. No matter how normal life tries to feel, there's always something inside you that refuses to settle. It's like a quiet voice, a persistent nudge, a deep inner knowing that your life is meant for more. Even in moments when everything seems fine on the surface, you still feel it, that sense that this isn't all there is, that you're not here just to exist, but to become something greater. And that feeling doesn't go away. You've tried to ignore it at times. You've tried to blend in, to follow what everyone else is doing, to convince yourself that maybe you're overthinking it. But no matter how much you try to silence it, it keeps returning stronger, clearer, more undeniable. That's not restlessness. That's purpose calling you. God placed that pull inside you as a compass. It's meant to guide you, to stretch you, and sometimes even to disrupt your comfort, so you don't settle for less than what you were created for. While others may feel satisfied staying in the familiar, You feel a deeper hunger, one that can't be fulfilled by ordinary routines or surface-level success, and that can feel frustrating, because purpose doesn't always come with clear instructions. Sometimes it feels like you're being pulled towards something you can't fully see yet. You may question the timing. You may doubt whether you're ready. You may even wonder if you're capable of stepping into what you feel called to do, but the feeling itself is confirmation. You wouldn't feel this pull if there wasn't something real ahead of you. You wouldn't sense something greater if it wasn't already aligned with your path. That inner tension you feel, the desire for more, is actually a sign that you're evolving beyond where you are. You're not lost. You're being led. And the more you trust that inner pull, the clearer your path will become. Because purpose isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. And you're closer than you think. You've been misunderstood repeatedly. One of the most painful parts of your journey hasn't just been what you've gone through. It's been how people have misread you along the way. You've had moments where your silence was taken as arrogance. Your kindness was mistaken for weakness. Your distance was labeled as coldness. And your growth, it made others uncomfortable. Instead of trying to understand you, people created their own versions of who they thought you were and treated you based on that illusion. And if you're honest, that hurt, because you weren't trying to be difficult. You weren't trying to stand apart. You were simply being yourself. But somehow, that authenticity kept getting misinterpreted. You may have even found yourself over-explaining, shrinking, or adjusting just to be understood. But here's the truth you're starting to realize. Not everyone is meant to understand you. And more importantly, not everyone has the capacity to. When you carry depth, awareness, and a different perspective on life, it naturally sets you apart. People who operate on surface-level thinking will struggle to grasp someone who sees beyond what's obvious. Your silence makes them uncomfortable because it reflects what they avoid within themselves. Your growth challenges them because it reminds them of where they're stuck. So instead of understanding you, they label you. But their misunderstanding was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their limitation. You were never too much. You were never too different. You were simply ahead in ways they couldn't comprehend. And now, you're learning to stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to see you clearly. Because the right people won't need constant explanations. They'll recognize you. They'll feel your authenticity without needing you to prove it. Your journey was never meant to be widely understood. It was meant to be deeply lived. And the more you embrace who you truly are, the less you'll feel the need to be understood by those who were never aligned with you in the first place. You keep rising no matter what, no matter how many times life has knocked you down. You keep getting back up, and not just barely surviving, but rising with more awareness, more strength, and a deeper understanding of who you are. That's what makes your journey different. Most people break under repeated pressure. Most people lose themselves after a few setbacks, but you rebuild again and again. There were moments when it felt like too much. Times when you gave your all and still faced disappointment. Times when you trusted only to be let down. Times when you thought, I can't do this anymore. And yet, somehow you did. That somehow is not random. It's something within you that refuses to stay down. You may not even realize how powerful that is, because to you, it feels normal. You just do what you have to do. You keep moving. You keep pushing forward. But if others had faced what you faced, they might have stopped long ago. You didn't. And that's the difference. Every time you rise, you don't come back the same. You come back stronger, wiser, more grounded. The pain you experienced didn't just hurt you, it shaped you. It sharpened your awareness. It forced you to grow in ways comfort never could. You've become someone who can handle pressure without collapsing. Someone who can face uncertainty without losing direction. Someone who can take a hit and still move forward. That's not weakness, that's power. And here's what you need to understand. People who rise like you do are not ordinary. There's a reason you can't be kept down. There's a reason setbacks don't define you. There's a reason you keep finding your way back to yourself. because your story isn't meant to end in struggle. It's meant to transform into strength. And now, every time you rise, you're not just recovering, you're elevating. You're becoming unstoppable. Your breakthrough will be public. For a long time, your journey has been hidden. The struggles, the growth, the silent battles, the moments of doubt, most of it happened behind closed doors. People saw glimpses of you, but they never saw the full story. They didn't see the nights you pushed through pain. They didn't see the discipline it took to keep going. They didn't see how much you had to overcome just to stand where you are today. But that's about to change, because what God builds in private, He reveals in public. Your breakthrough isn't just coming, it's going to be visible. The same life that felt delayed is about to accelerate. The same doors that stayed closed are about to open in ways you didn't expect. And the same people who overlooked you, they won't be able to ignore what God is about to do in your life. This isn't about validation, it's about confirmation. Everything you went through is about to make sense, not just to you, but to those who doubted you. Your growth will speak. Your results will speak. Your transformation will speak. You won't have to explain yourself anymore, because your life will become the evidence. And here's the deeper truth. Your breakthrough is bigger than you. It's not just about your success, it's about your story becoming a light for others. There are people who are watching you, even now, quietly. People who are going through what you've already survived. And when they see you rise, it will give them the belief that they can rise too. That's why your journey had to be so intense, because your testimony has to be undeniable. So don't be discouraged by how long it took. Don't question the timing. Don't lose faith now. When everything is aligning behind the scenes, you're not hidden anymore. You're about to be revealed, and when it happens, it won't be subtle. It will be undeniable. Chosen one, if this message found you, take a moment and really let it sink in. This connection in your life is not random. It's not something to ignore, dismiss, or take lightly. There is a purpose behind it, even if you don't fully understand it yet. Sometimes clarity doesn't come immediately. Sometimes the meaning reveals itself over time through reflection, growth, and experience. But one thing is certain, this person crossed your path for a reason, and whether they are meant to stay, to teach, or to transform you, their presence is part of something bigger unfolding in your life. Don't rush the process. Pay attention, observe, learn. Everything you're experiencing right now is shaping you into the next version of yourself. Every emotion, every realization, every lesson, it's all preparing you for a level you've been praying for. But growth requires awareness, and awareness requires you to stay present. So instead of asking, why is this happening? Start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift alone can change everything. And remember, some people are blessings, and some are lessons. But both are necessary for your evolution. If this message spoke to you, don't ignore that feeling. That's your confirmation. Make sure you subscribe, because this channel isn't just about content, it's about clarity, growth, and divine alignment. And you don't want to miss what's coming next. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, and this is only the beginning.